いらっしゃいませ.
Bonjour.
Ça va?
Welcome back to the Study Abroad Pod. If you've been dreaming about traveling overseas, but end up feeling overwhelmed by even just starting the application process, you're not alone. Today's episode will share first-time traveling worries, go over the first steps to apply, and help you demystify this whole study abroad application process. Relax and stop stressing. We've got you.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Study Abroad Pod. My name is Casey Carlin and I'm a USAC alumni. I went on one of our Japan programs in fall of 2022. Loved it so much, I came back here and I now work as the enrollment specialist for USAC for our programs in Japan and South Korea. And I'm here with Jonathan and Dominique.
Hi, my name's Dominique Nelson. I'm a program advisor. I studied abroad with USAC twice during my undergrad. I did a semester in Melbourne, Australia, and a semester in Pau, France. And I currently advise for the programs in Czechia, France, and Portugal.
Hello, everybody. My name is Jonathan Hakim. I am an institutional relations officer at USAC. I am based in New York City, Manhattan, and I work with our institutional partners in the northeastern part of the United States. I studied abroad myself in college. I studied a year in Melbourne, Australia at the University of Melbourne. Absolutely loved it. Was only supposed to do a semester and then extended for an entire year because I just didn't want to leave. And now I work in international education.
A lot of discourse about study abroad is how much fun you're going to have, what it's going to be like while you're there, which is all true. But of course, there is a lot that goes into it beforehand. So yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that today. Jonathan, would you like to talk just a little bit about choosing your destination and sort of some first steps, since you talk with students a lot on that front?
Yeah, so I'm happy to chat a little bit about that. A lot of students, when I first interact with them, are very unsure about what study abroad is and what does it entail and how do I go about doing it. And so I think I talk to them a little bit about what kind of program will be the best fit for them. So kind of taking a look at a number of different things to help them figure out which program will be the best fit for them academically, professionally, personally. Usually the first thing that I talk to them about is just kind of simple things like eligibility requirements, making sure they meet any of kind of the basic GPA. Once we kind of get past the application requirements, I think academics is probably the biggest thing for a lot of students. Obviously, you want to make sure that the study abroad program that you go on is going to fit in academically to your undergraduate degree, that you're not going to be kind of behind a semester or a term because you studied abroad. So definitely talking to them a little bit about the academic side of things, encouraging them to talk to major advisors, academic advisors. So then kind of a little past academics, I know that finances are a little bit of a concern for a lot of students. So kind of sharing with students some resources, talking to them a little bit about, scholarships and the USAC budget sheets, for example. So just really kind of providing them with a lot of resources, helping them to figure out what does that look like in terms of the academic planning, the financial planning, personal planning. Is this particular program really what you're interested in for your study abroad experience?
Another thing that I know that I dealt with when I was thinking about going abroad was that I had never traveled abroad before. So I signed up to study abroad and I was like, oh my gosh, this is my first time being on a plane that long. This is my first time being out of the country. There's a lot of anxiety that comes with that. I know that USAC does offer a group flight options for some programs, so that's definitely something that you could look into. I did not go for the group flight option. My dad was like, well, if I'm helping you with the flight, we're taking the cheapest option with the most layovers. So I was in 4 airports that day. Did not help my anxiety beforehand, but one key takeaway that I know if you're struggling with the anxiety about that and the stress that comes with, I've never been, what's it going to be like? You are way more capable than you expect of yourself. And when you're put in that situation, you realize how much you are able to do on your own. And I do think that that's a big theme of study abroad is you get to feel that really early on. And yeah, Also, USAC staff is here and available to you to help out as well. All of us have traveled abroad before and have felt these same sort of anxieties, uncertainties. So if you would like any more help beforehand, feel free to reach out to us. We will always try to do what we can to help you and help you learn more about what's up and coming. Also, when it comes to your program options and looking into it, I know that Jonathan just touched on that a little bit, but on the enrollment side, we deal with students as they come in. Some students have already chosen a program or they have a very specific country that they want to go to. And other students are kind of just like, here's my major. Where do you think I should go? What I recommend doing is sort of going on our website. We have a little filter tool, and in there you're able to put in maybe like a specific major you want to study while abroad in a specific country, and curating kind of a list of your top choices. And then you're also able to schedule a meeting with one of your enrollment specialists. So you can go through the list with us and we'll be able to help you narrow it down, maybe give some of our advice. So I do think that that's also a really good place to start if you know that you want to go abroad, but you're still having a little bit of uncertainty on where or which program is best for you. We can totally help you out with that.
I was just going to also just quickly mention one of the nice things that I always tell students in terms of kind of figuring out programs is that the USAC programs don't have a language requirement in order to attend a USAC program. I know that can be a worry for some students. Oh, I don't know German, like, can I study abroad on the USAC Germany program? And yes, you can. I mean, that's one of the really great things about USAC programs is that we don't want foreign language to be an obstacle. So that's always, I found, something that will help alleviate some of the stress in terms of figuring out which program might be a good fit. So I studied abroad in Australia, which, for those who don't know, Australia is the size of the continental US. So it is a massive geographic country. And I had never been abroad before alone. And I was like, I landed in Australia and I didn't know a soul in the entire country. So like I'm showing up to this country. I don't know anyone in like I don't know, millions of people that live in Australia. And I go to check into my hostel because I arrived a few days before the program started. And there's somebody in the hostel who is speaking to me, and I don't understand a word that this man is saying. He is Australian. He is speaking to me, and I just freeze up. And I was like, I thought they spoke English here. I was like, oh my God, like, what is this going to be what my entire study abroad is going to be like? Like, I'm not going to know what anybody is saying. I started like panicking a little, but like Casey said, like it all worked out. I totally, got a feel for it. Obviously they speak English in Australia. It is a very different type of English in Australia, but it all worked out. It really is sort of kind of an opportunity to grow personally. I really didn't know what to expect from my time abroad, and then I came back and I was like, oh my God, wow, like I did that, like I spent X amount of time in a foreign country, by myself. And so yeah, it's really eye-opening at sort of how you grow and change and the things that you learn along the way.
So like Jonathan and Casey mentioned, there are things to consider when selecting your program. I definitely recommend making a spreadsheet or a list. I love lists. They really help me, collect and review the facts, compare them, because there's a lot of information out there to keep track of and research. So I definitely recommend, make yourself an Excel spreadsheet, put on there, what your degree is. Does this program offer courses that fit to your degree? Have you, like Jonathan mentioned, talk to your home university advisor about how the courses you want to take abroad might transfer? Think about the time of year you want to go abroad, what the climate is going to be at that time of year. Do you want to be somewhere hot, humid, cold, snowy? Do you want to be somewhere that's a bigger city or a smaller town? Are there GPA requirements for the program or class standing requirements? Most of USAC programs don't have those restrictions, but some of our partnership programs do, and those are listed on our website, so that's a good thing to take into consideration. Another thing to consider is the program cost. We provide interactive budget sheets on our website And that breaks down not only the cost for the program, but other expenses you may expect, such as airfare, local transportation, maybe if there's any courses or tours that have an additional fee. Also, great things to add to your spreadsheet. And then funding opportunities. As we mentioned, USAC offers scholarships for our programs, but we also have a section of our website that talks about scholarships that are not through USAC that could be used on any study abroad program. And then, of course, checking with your home university study abroad office on any funding opportunities they may have as well. And like Casey mentioned, you can talk to a USAC enrollment specialist. We have a virtual advising hub on our website where you can reach out to enrollment specialists for USAC. Depending on the program that you're interested in, you can make an appointment to meet with them virtually and ask any questions you may have about the program, especially about the admissions process, eligibility, is it full yet, that type of thing. You can also talk about any fears that you might have. Maybe support from your family is not something that you have and you want to talk to somebody who's done it before to get another perspective. Another thing to consider is accommodations while you're on the program. Certain locations may offer certain types of housing, and that may be a deciding factor for you when choosing your program. Also consider if your home university has a requirement or restriction around housing. Maybe for your major, you have to study abroad and you have to live in a homestay. Or maybe you can choose any of the housing, but you can't opt out of program option provided housing. So, of course, always check in with your home university study abroad office. Talk to your academic advisor, make sure those courses are going to suit your needs. Figure out the pricing. And then talk to an enrollment specialist just in case there's maybe something that you forgot to ask about.
It might seem intimidating to reach out to us and ask for help, but we all work really closely with each other. So even if you reach out to somebody, you're not sure if they're the right person to ask the question to, we will get your question to who it needs to go to. So don't feel nervous that you don't know who to reach out to. A good email to start with actually is studyabroad@usac.edu. That's just our general email. And then from there, if you do ask some questions, we can just get it sent to who it needs to go to, and you will get an answer for that. I know that it can definitely be a lot to take in when you're thinking about studying abroad, but one of the things that I wish that I would have done earlier is just looking into my passport, getting my application in for that. I didn't realize how long that it takes. If you apply regularly, it can take a few months, and I definitely didn't want to pay extra for expedited. So getting that in early, and even if you are just like study abroad is just a concept to you right now, you have no clue when you would go, passports are valid for 10 years once you get it. So if you think you're going to travel abroad just in general in the next decade or so, I definitely recommend just getting it now, getting that part over with, because that definitely is a document that takes the longest amount of time. And you will need a passport for any USAC program that you go on. And if you do end up going on some of our longer term programs, so like semester or year long, you'll likely need to get a student visa as well. And to apply for that, you will need to have your passport. So there are a lot of steps that go into it, but with the right planning, looking into it earlier, it can help alleviate a lot of that stress once that time actually does come. I'm sure you hate this word, is deadlines. Deadlines are really important. The good news is that a lot of our applications actually open up around a year in advance. So you have a lot of time from when they open up to getting your application and finishing it. But it's just something to keep in mind. USAC applications are approved on a rolling basis, which is pretty much first come, first serve. So I do have a lot of students reach out and ask about what exactly this means. So it means that the earlier that you are submitting your application, getting everything done, and then I will send you an offer letter. And then once you accept your offer, you're good to go on the USAC side, you're approved, which means that you got a spot on the program. So you're not necessarily competing with other students to get these spots. You're competing against yourself and the deadline. For the application itself, I do want to just go over that real quick. So applying is really easy. There's an apply now button on the top left of the USAC website. And that will lead you to the initial application. This application only takes around 5 minutes. It's really easy. And then from there, your enrollment specialist will review your application. And if it all looks good, we'll email your welcome letters. And that will explain to you just what the next steps sort of are. We do require some supplemental documents. So these will be things like your transcript, a copy of your passport if you have it already. If you don't, we'll work with you on that.
Can I just
Yeah,
Can I just
go for
add
it.
that one thing I like to tell students is that we don't have an application fee. So there is no financial loss on the part of the student to submit or even start an application with USAC.
Mhm.
So like Casey was saying, if you're just thinking about it or you're a little unsure or you're not quite sure maybe which term you're looking to do, you can start an application and there is nothing you need to worry about financially in order to begin the process with USAC, which is, I think, a really nice feature about
Mhm.
our programs.
That is so true. Thank you for bringing that up. Once you submit all of your documents, I'll do a final review, or your enrollment specialist will do a final review of your application. And if everything looks good, you'll be offered a spot on the program. So definitely keeping those important dates in mind and just knowing that we are here to help you submit everything. And we are really flexible too, as well.
And then in terms of deadlines, it's very likely that your institution might have its own internal study abroad deadlines that are different from USAC's deadline. So as a student who is, going ahead with the application, it's important that you're also working with the study abroad office at your home school and making sure that you're meeting any kind of application deadlines on their ends. But again, we'll work with you, your study abroad office.
And that's really one of the benefits of studying abroad through USAC is you receive guidance and reminders throughout the process. So, in the admissions process, you've got the support of your enrollment specialist. Once you're admitted into the program and you're preparing to go abroad, you have the support of your program advisor. And once you're abroad, you have the support of the on-site staff, whether that be a resident director on a specialty program or the host university international office support staff on a partnership program. So we're all here to support your journey.
And I always hear from students, they love, like everybody really appreciates their enrollment specialists, their program advisors. So yes, if you have a lot of that anxiety or worry, there is a lot of support for you throughout the entire process.
And going into more of that anxiety about studying abroad, most of our students, like Casey mentioned, have not traveled internationally before. A lot of our students have never had a passport, and that's totally okay. We're here to help. In addition to past student lists, speaking to an enrollment specialist, talking to a program advisor, talking to your home university study abroad office. There are additional resources on our website. The Virtual Advising Center not only has a section where you can book an appointment with your enrollment specialist like Casey, but there's also considerations for you to reflect on when choosing a program and deciding if it's right for you and it's going to fit your goals and needs. And then going through the process, Casey mentioned this earlier, but you really develop a sense of self-reliancy and independence. I think, Casey, you said you really don't know what you're capable of until you do it. And that's certainly true with studying abroad. It does seem very overwhelming at first. You can't swallow the elephant whole. It's just one bite at a time. But yeah, we help you break it up into little pieces and guide you through the process.
I just want to jump in really quick with just a funny little story of my first night abroad, because I feel like it's very pertinent to this. So I did my study abroad in Japan, and I did speak Japanese before I went. But I remember I got off the plane, I got to my hotel. It's my first night there. And I was like, dang, I'm so hungry. I need to go out and I need to get something. But I was so nervous to go to a restaurant or go somewhere. So I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. And I went to bed and I didn't eat anything. And so I woke up the next morning and I was like, okay, I can't put it off. I can't keep doing this. So I went to a convenience store and I was listening around. I'm looking around to see how everybody's interacting with the cashier. And I was like, okay, I can do this. And I went up and the lady was like, oh, do you need a bag? In Japanese. And I was like, all of a sudden, everything gone. I was like, huh? And then she said in English, I was like, yeah. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I messed up my first interaction. And it's just so funny to think about now because I've been back to Japan a couple times now since my study abroad, and it's like second nature now. But it's just so funny to look back on that and just think about how nervous I was, even though I thought I was so ready. I had the language aspect, I had this, which you don't need, by the way. Everyone's really nice and will speak to you in English. But it's just so funny to look back on now. And being in this position, working with students, I can completely understand how you might be feeling, but you're going to learn so much during your study abroad. You're going to realize how adaptable you are, how capable you are, how much you can do that you had no clue you could even do before. So yeah, it's a really great experience, and we're here to help you throughout the way. And we have all done embarrassing or other things during our time that we look back on and we realize just how much we've grown.
In addition to the personal development that happens during a study abroad, I also am so pleased for the new opportunities that open themselves to a student during or after the study abroad. Your awareness of options increases, your connections increase, and you may have an idea of what you want to do after you graduate, and then you study abroad and your world gets so much bigger and smaller at the same time that maybe a new path reveals itself to you. So it's really long lasting, the benefits and effects of studying abroad. Definitely worth every penny.
Yeah, I heard a story of a USAC student who studied abroad in Italy. I forget which program, but then came back and like started his own chocolate company, and like his time abroad just really kind of changed, the entire trajectory of his life. And I was like, that is amazing. Hear and see that. And I was also like, I want chocolate. Like, that's great.
So definitely as you're preparing to study abroad, or even if you're just considering programs, starting early is definitely in your benefit. Do some research, compare different programs with certain criteria so you have a better sense of what you're getting into and what you can expect. Explore scholarship opportunities. Reach out to your resources, so your home university, reach out to USAC. Talk to fellow students maybe who studied abroad before at your campus. You're going to learn a lot. And your anxiety is not going to go away completely. You learn to become more comfortable with the uncomfortable. But, if you're just naturally an anxious person, I am personally.
Same.
That isn't just going to be gone. But using the resources available, I can mitigate how that anxiety affects my decision making or impedes my decision making.
And it's okay to be anxious about the entire process. Don't think that, you're different, or, it's only you that is worried or anxious. We each talk to hundreds of students every semester, and a lot of students are anxious. It's an entirely different new thing for you. So it's okay to be anxious about that. It's okay to, be a little worried. How am I going to be able to afford study abroad? That is totally a normal and an okay feeling to have about this process. You're not the only one going through it. There are other students in a similar position as you, and your home institution, everybody is there really to help you throughout the entire process, to help you kind of mitigate everything, help you alleviate some of that worry and that anxiety. So don't think that, oh my God, I'm the only one who is worried about, my academics or my, finances for this. There are hundreds, thousands of students in a similar boat to you as you.
Just because you brought up the anxiety around finances, this was my biggest anxiety that I had as a student. I was a Pell Grant recipient. So when I talked to my parents about the idea of studying abroad, they were initially really against it, just because in their mind it was this like really expensive, unobtainable experience, and they felt really bad. But they told me if I was somehow able to get it to the same price or lower than what we were paying at my university, they would let me go. So I was like, okay, it is time to lock in. I don't know what I need to do, but I will do anything. So I was able to apply all of my student aid that I was getting to my program, and then I did not get a USAC scholarship. So we'll be talking to someone about that. No, I'm kidding. But I totally recommend that you guys apply for it. We give out a lot of different scholarships, need-based, merit-based, program-based, so many different options. But what I did get was a lot of external scholarships. So I received 2 different external scholarships, which helped cover almost the whole program cost. And my parents were very happy about that. So the main takeaway of that is please just apply for as many as you can. Even though I did end up receiving 2 external scholarships, I probably applied for like 15 of them. And every single time I got that email saying like, sorry, you didn't get it, I was so disheartened. And I was like, I'm not going to get them. I'm competing against so many different people. But just keep in mind that like rejection is just redirection. Like, even though I didn't get those ones, I was still able to receive other ones and I was still able to go abroad. And I was like sitting there in Japan being like, oh my gosh, I'm here. And like, I'm able to do this. And I got a scholarship that's helping me pay for my everyday expenses, go on the train, do this. Like, it was so wonderful. So please just keep applying. You never know what will happen. I know that that's a huge anxiety for students. And if you do want more information on that, totally feel free to reach out to us. Like I said, your enrollment specialist or whoever else you have a contact of will get you where it needs to go. And we can help provide you with links and different resources to look into that as well.
And then in terms of financial aid, if you receive federal aid will oftentimes carry over to a semester or an academic year abroad. So you can always talk to your financial aid office about your specific financial aid package and will that carry over? What parts of it will carry over? I think a lot of students in terms of the finances assume that, okay, let me look for the shortest possible program because that will by definition be the cheapest program. And that's why doing a little bit of research is so important, because on paper, you're like, wow, like a summer is so much cheaper than a semester, but maybe you're not taking into account all of the aid and scholarships and things like that that can be used for a semester. And then you're like, oh my God, wow, this semester in Santiago, Chile is, so much more cheaper than this summer program in, England, for example. So I would definitely also do a little bit of research, talk to advisors, financial aid, and things like that.
So how far in advance should I be considering, actually making plans to study abroad if I want to do that? What are your suggestions?
I would say usually probably about a year out would be good. I always tell students it's never too early to start thinking about study abroad, to start planning, to start having those conversations that Dominique was really talking about with academic advisors, financial aid advisors. Even as a freshman, I talked to a lot of freshmen who their first semester, they just got to campus and, they're swinging by a study abroad fair because it sounds interesting or looks interesting. And, I'm like, you just got here, it's been a month and we're already trying to convince you to leave campus. But really, the earlier you start having these conversations, the easier it will be for you to actually be able to go abroad. Maybe, your sophomore year, you need to double up on some major requirements to be able to go abroad for a semester your junior year. And if you wait until second semester junior year to start having those conversations, it might limit the types of programs or the opportunities that you are able to have in terms of international experience. So it's never too early. Like, start having those conversations, start doing the research. I don't know, Casey, if there was any other thoughts or
No, I
suggestions.
totally agree with that. Like, once the thought festers in your mind that you want to go abroad,
Yup.
look for a table, go talk to somebody. Like, the earlier the better. I think I started looking probably like 2 days into college and they were like, oh, when do you want to go? And I was like, junior year. They were like, okay. But it's great to look. I learned so much early on, like especially about the scholarships and other things that because I knew about them beforehand, I was ready when those opened up. Like, day of, I was submitting my applications and I didn't have to worry about it because once the time came for the USAC application, because the application due dates, like you were saying, Jonathan, are usually a term in advance. So for example, right now, fall applications are going to be due in a couple weeks. And a lot of students right now, I'm getting messages saying, sorry, I'm busy with my midterms. I'm busy with other things. Like, I don't know if I can get it in time. So yeah, I would say a year is a good timeline, especially if you are working on getting your passport, just because it can take a few months to come. But as early as you think about it, even if it's just a thought, even if you're like, I don't know if this is plausible yet, like there's just something about it calling me. Like, go talk to someone, go start getting the process started early. There's no downside to that, I think.
Now, Casey, I personally am a bit of a procrastinator. I know, I'm sorry. So of course, preparing a year or a semester in advance is definitely ideal. But for people like me, maybe you're not quite that ahead of the game. Is there a place like on the USAC website or somewhere where I could check if an application is still open for a program I'm looking for?
Yeah, totally. We keep our website updated with all of the deadlines. So you can click on a specific program, click the fees and deadlines page. And then if you scroll down, it'll say like application deadline. And let's say if it is past that date. So for example, April 1st is a pretty big deadline for some fall programs coming up. It will say like April 1st, and then it might say program closed. And some of our programs, these are usually going to be some of our more specialty programs. Those might have more flexibility with a deadline. So we always just recommend that you reach out to our study abroad inbox or reach out by like calling or anything like that and just saying, hey, listen, I might have missed that April 1st deadline or some of those deadlines. Do you have any programs that are willing to be flexible on that or have later deadlines? And I know that a lot of them are able to do that. So there's no worry in calling, no worry in reaching out to us. We will let you know. And then even if it's not possible, maybe for that semester, we do have shorter term programs that a lot of students choose to go on, whether that's like summer programs or like January winter programs even, which might have like a quicker turnaround, like getting your application than being able to go. And then you can always start planning for next semester if that's an option as well. If you're reaching out early enough, we can get you started on switching your application to a next semester or anything like that. So there's really no harm in reaching out to us. We will help let you know what is feasible, and we will do the most that we can on our side to ensure that you are able to go or know what your options are.
And then just to piggyback off of that, there also is a very handy page on the USAC website. So if you go to just the USAC website and you search, can I still apply? That will take you to sort of a one-page page, where it will list all of the upcoming term deadlines. So you can kind of get a one-stop shop for all of like upcoming deadlines. You can see which ones might have extended deadlines, and that can also be a really good resource for students who might be a little bit on the later side and seeing what applications are still accepting students. So yeah.
Well, that's great. It seems like there's a lot of resources available, and it's never too early to start. And reach out to USAC. We're here to help.
100%. I think, like I said, the earlier, the better. But, you know, if we are able to accommodate last minute, we will definitely try our best.
And I always like to say, I never have students come back that are like, I regret studying abroad. It's always people that come up, like alumni, they're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have gone earlier. Or we'll have like people come up that say, oh, I didn't study abroad in college, but like, I wish I did. And I think that we can all feel that sentiment. It might be overwhelming earlier on when you're thinking about it, but once you're actually abroad, you're in your location, you're getting settled. It's like, dang, I'm here, I did this. And you might wish that you can even stay longer. I know I do. I wish I would have done the full year, but I was nervous about it. Didn't know if I'd like it. Loved it. Have been back many times since and plan to go back again. So hopefully that was able to help you get a broader overview of what to start doing now to start working towards your study abroad process. Like we said, please reach out to us if you have any questions. Your questions will get answered and it will go to who it needs to go to. But yeah, I look forward to reviewing your applications.
And thanks so much for letting me be here to talk a little bit about studying abroad. I also look forward to helping you prepare for your study abroad experience.
Thank you, everybody. Hopefully this was informative and helps to alleviate maybe some of that anxiety around the process. Hopefully you learned that there are a lot of resources for you. So please don't hesitate to reach out. And hopefully I may see you at a study abroad fair or info session on your campus.
Thank you for listening to the Study Abroad Pod, a podcast brought to you by the University Studies Abroad Consortium. Please listen, subscribe, and review us on Buzzsprout or wherever you get your podcasts. You can follow USAC on all your favorite social media channels at Study Abroad USAC, and if you have an idea for a future episode or want to learn more about study abroad, you can email us at studyabroad@usac.edu.